So apparently the father isn't in the home because she put a protective order out against him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not there. The one let all right, just like we did earlier, let's assume that the niece is absolutely telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just assume that for a second. This is one of those situations where we can say that the father is between a rock and a hard place, where he's fighting an uphill battle against a woman that has a son in the house harming his children. But before he can get the jump on the son, she got the jump on him and got him removed from the home.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have to watch all this play out because it speaks to what I said earlier. She's the barrier that keeps all the kids in the house. She's the barrier in front of progress. She's trying to protect her son. So she's not gonna, you know what I mean? Who knows what she may keep her kids from doing? Who knows what she may coach the little girl to say? Because we also, again, let's just assume the niece is telling the truth. She coached the daughter to lie on the father.
So Sweeney, assuming that what you like, this scenario is playing out exactly how you saying, and she's keeping her children in the house with somebody that's molesting them, and she's co-party to that, yeah, kill that bitch too. Her and her son.
Oh, we gotta watch that.
Be careful about saying things.
Yeah,
you're gonna get the whole screen taken out, man.
Oh gosh.
No, I know what Marcus stands on this. I already know that. I was just talking about
it's a sensitive subject, period. When you're talking about kids, and I just wish people would just do right. Leave them kids. Why
I'm just speaking to like the questions of like, why would the kids still be in the house? If the mother has custody and she's the barrier between law being enacted and not, and she's pointing the finger at somebody else, now you got to watch all this play out in court. And you talking maybe months, if not years of this before anything ever gets solved. If she's the barrier between everything going down.
And this makes my point on a broken home where there's not a man in the house that's able to enforce principle and standards. You got to understand that this woman has to be disconnected from her husband to the fact of where she's veered off and went her own way. She have kids that are unruly. And we haven't even brought in the father of the kid that's actually could allegedly doing this. Like, can you imagine this man sitting far watching this go down and like, this is why I want my son to live with me, because if my son was with me, he wouldn't be pushing his brother down the stairs. He wouldn't be touching girls. This is the reason why I said when the father is in the household, a lot of these things that are happening, and there's statistics to prove it, and I hate to keep repeating myself, that these kids don't behave like this, man. They just don't.
Yeah.
Let me check with Dad. How you feeling about this, Dad? You on mute just so you know.
When I was first hearing everybody argue, I kind of felt like where Shannon was coming from. I was disappointed that people was like, their first reaction was to argue about who's to blame versus like almost like the empathy for the kids. I'm glad I sat back and listened to both sides of the stories. I feel like it looked weird on both sides. When I heard the first lady's story, it seemed like she felt more guilty than like done wrong or in pain. I didn't feel like it like she was using her emotions to say, oh, this hurt me, but that's the way she tried to portray it to the world to save her face, to save her ass. Like, think about it. She's talking about how to become a trophy wife, and I guarantee you it probably don't even have anything to have to do with principles or anything like that. So it's like the only thing she care about is her image. She's a fucked up ass person, and I do think something wrong with her, and I do think that women like that are very detrimental. I was surprised that when we thought it was the first way at first, I heard how everybody responded to her when it was like, well, if he did do this, she's so bogus for not, acting immediately and right away. When I listened to the second part of the story, I think they said that the little boy had reported sexual abuse at some point, and the niece said that when they asked them about it, they said the mama did it. So that means this happened. It was a report made
It wasn't
about some
sexual
type of
abuse.
abuse.
It
It
was
was
just
just
Oh,
regular
it
abuse.
was just
abuse.
regular abuse.
It was
Okay.
just abuse, and it was the younger son. She got 2 boys and 2 girls.
The
Well,
younger son. So
yeah.
one of them, I want to listen to. I'm gonna go back and listen again. But I could have sworn she said, and the little boy said somebody did something to him, and guess who he said did it? The mama. And then she went to bring on, and if you go on record, because that I don't think that was technically on record, but then she said then it's on record that he was physically abused. So just with kids, just from just what I know and what I've read and the things I've studied, I've like studied psychology before at Triton. Um, Kids, a lot of the times it's like learned behavior. So if he's pushing and he's doing, depending on how young the boy is, right? If the boy is like 15, 16, I don't know. But if the boy is like 7, 8, 9, 9 times out of 10 is being done to him. And he doesn't have a voice to say what's being happened. So he's lashing out to everyone in the house, right? Something is being done to him. And I think when I heard the other niece talking, her lack of empathy for the kids made me feel like she was in the defense of the uncle for some reason. And I was so disgusted by how she was delivering her point with lack of empathy for those kids, the same ones that we're trying to have empathy for as we speak on the situation. Even us, without all the details, are careful. Well, I feel like I didn't have empathy for the son at all, but for the girls, y'all, we're careful how we say things, the way we're saying things, the emotion behind it. It just seems like she's just like, and fuck that little boy, and da 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 da, and da 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 da. And it's like, okay, what's going on? But fuck it. Say if what the niece saying is correct. I'm watching the panel and I'm like, now that the roles switch, I wonder if they're gonna say the same thing about the guy. Like, why didn't you divorce her when she said that you was sexually assaulting her? Or why didn't you divorce her when it first came out, when the little boy, before the 2 and 4-year-old got involved, when the little boy came out and said she did it or she was the one abusing me? Why did you continue to have kids with this lady with this type of background? So I do understand, like, for me, I agree with Shannon. I can argue both points. If you, whatever situation you want me to give the view, wherever you want my perception to go, I'm going to argue whatever's what's best for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Period. And then if the role end up switching, I'm gonna get on the other person as equally as I did when when the roles was switched. So that's just my opinion. I feel like the system is fucked up. This is something I'm not ashamed of, but a friend of mine was mad I couldn't go to her birthday party. And I had a platform for people who had to who was dealing with mental illnesses. We all kind of supported each other because we felt like other people couldn't empathize with what we were going through. And she took my stuff and sent it to DCFS for 2 years, y'all. First off, let's say I love kids. I'm always complimenting about the relationship I have with my daughter and the relationship I have with other people, kids, my family. I love kids. And she took some tweets and sent it as I was trying to heal about my child's father. So, all glory be to God. Before I do my healing, I look up, I do research, psychology. I had sources that backed up the way I was doing what I was doing. But for 2 years, DCFS, they, oh, we're not going to do here. We're going to put this on your background and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But at the same time, I remember when I was taking care of my auntie who was on drugs. We were, not me, but my family was taking care of their kids and we trying to get them help. And they ain't doing the goddamn thing. Oh, glory be to God. That stuff is not on my record. And the judge told me, if you didn't do your research, if you didn't have your resources, if you didn't do the things that, because they talk about, well, we're not going to charge you with it, but we're going to keep it in the system. No, the fuck you not.
Did they ever take?
I'm smart. I went to school. But the system, I agree with Shannon. The system is failing these kids and it's messed up. And we need to start coming up with new laws to protect these kids. People want to come up with laws about money. We need more laws that put our Black men in better positions to lead. We need laws that, like I said, protect these children. Because at the end of the day, something's going on. And now that I'm hearing the story, and then come to find out, now I'm happy that the guy did file for divorce. But then this is why I said men have to be comfortable doing what's best for them and their family too. Because if he tried to stick it out after knowing her background, because he did marry her and then he had kids, then it's like, damn, I guess he did try to take on that leadership role, and that's messed up. And that's why in the beginning of the panel, I said, if a man is in that position and his kids are in harm's way and the wife is fucked up, he needs to get up out of there.
Hey,
He
and,
needs to get up out of there.